I've been feeling really pushed to share something. And I've shared it before, so I'm curious why the push. When you argue with God, like, why? I've already done this. Sharing a piece of my story. And I've done that before. But I feel like first I have to say, no one can fill that hole in your heart. And I know it sounds so cliche, so many people say it, but really listen and share this with people that need to hear it. Because most of you guys are believers like me, so you may not need to hear this, but you know someone who needs to. There is no one and there is nothing that can satisfy that God-shaped hole in your heart. And I know it sounds cliche. Let go of the way your flesh likes to fight that. Our flesh loves to label things as cliche or overused so we can turn our ears off. But listen, nothing and no one will ever satisfy like God can. Nothing. We chase so many things because of the endorphins they offer, the comfort they offer, the distractions they offer. And they are always short-lived. They are always short-lived. And you see the evidence of this in people who are adrenaline junkies. I call them serial daters, people who are always chasing that feeling. Not to pick on her, Taylor Swift has had so many boyfriends. She's a good example. I'm not picking on her, but I know people personally who are always chasing that feeling, that first love feeling, or just an addiction that drowns out the fact that they already know nothing satisfies. They have found nothing that takes the pain away, nothing that fills them with joy, peace, purpose. So they drown out their feelings instead. I was a person who put all my hopes in a romantic relationship. 16 years old, very in love with God, but also very in love with the idea that one day I was going to find the perfect guy and that was going to be my fairy tale. I was going to be so happy. I was going to have children. It was all so wonderful. So when at 16, after so much prayer, I was divided. When your flesh and your spirit are at war, my whole spirit was so in love with Jesus. I remember 16, I couldn't read enough. And I was so close to being fully surrendered. But boy, my flesh had me convinced that to truly be happy, I had to go find Mr. Wright. Well, in response to much soul seeking and prayer, I was given a dream, a very, very vivid dream at 16 that I would absolutely misinterpret. The dream was me as a little girl, maybe 9 or 10, on the Oregon Trail. Covered wagons, horses, oxen. I could smell the dust in the air. It was so vivid. It was like walking into a movie. And I'm on foot as a child walking alongside the wagon. And I remember being bored with life, like this is so monotonous. And then this very interesting, fun-loving boy pops out of nowhere. Glasses, freckles, just full of life and distraction. And we're playing and we're just having fun. But then all of a sudden, we realize we got too far from the wagon trail. We're lost. In fact, we got so distracted, we can't even see the dust cloud that the wagon train provides. Like, how could we have gotten so far away? Like, we should see them. We should see a puff of dust somewhere. And then it gets worse. We're being chased by a mountain lion. And I remember the terror that filled my body. And at first, we're running together. Like, we're scared and we're running. But then suddenly he leaves me. He veers off to the right and I am all alone and I'm running and I'm running. And I am so sure that I'm about to die. This is it. This is it. I'm about to die. And as I near the foot of a mountain, I see this form pick up a rock and start swinging it in a sling. And in one shot, hits the cougar from behind me. And it's dead. In one shot, dead. The relief, and then sudden joy as I'm lifted in this man's arms. And suddenly I'm on the top of the mountain. I don't remember climbing it. I'm just there. I'm on the top of the mountain and this man is holding me tight. I feel such love and safety and peace. I wake up at 16 and my flesh tells me that was Mr. Wright. That's who you've been looking for. That's Mr. Wright. And he's out there and you're going to find him. It's so sad when I look back and I think how God gave me such a beautiful, vivid analogy of his love, of how he saved me from sin. I think of the wagon train. You're on the path. You're following the path and then you're bored and you find something fun and distracting. But before you know it, you're so far off the path, you're lost. You're getting scared. And then sin crouches at your door and it hunts you down like it always does. And the only one who can save you is not Mr. Wright. The only one who can save you from that situation, from the sin that you walked into, is Jesus. The only one who can conquer, as David conquered the giant in one shot, is Jesus. The only one who can take you to the top of the mountain and hold you in such pure love. I mean, the purest love and such peace. You're still not by the wagon train. You just went through something horrific, but you feel no fear. No fear. You are in his embrace. I don't know how I could have possibly misinterpreted that, but it's how the enemy works. He swoops in. He embraced that dream right alongside me and said, "It's Mr. Wright. Go look for him." And ironically, that dream led me to my ex-husband, who, when he was a child, was the spitting image of the boy in my dream. Glasses, freckles, the hazel eyes, I mean everything. So in a way, it was almost a prophetic dream too, because when I was given that dream, I lived in Arizona, and we ended up going back to Oregon, the Oregon Trail. It was so full of just prophetic moments that I would face in my life that I had no idea. And how that boy would be my first husband, and we would get off the trail. We would enter sin. He would break off from me. And I would be alone, feeling overwhelmed, full of fear. It's over. Until Jesus entered in. Until Jesus entered in. Not my next husband, who is a great man. Not him. He can't save me. No one can save you. There's no one and nothing out there that can fix the way you feel on the inside. Nothing. No one. I've had some friends come and go. I have some amazing family members. I have a good husband. But there is no one I can turn to like Jesus. No one who in one fell swoop can defeat the sin I invite in my life, who scoops me up and embraces me and holds me like I'm something precious. On the top of the mountain. On the top of the mountain. Picked me up from where I was. How many times have you heard that? He meets you where you are. And he brings you up. He draws you out of the waters. He brings you out of the miry clay. Have you heard this? These cliche statements that the enemy wants you to just write off because you've heard that before. It's so cliche. It's so overdone. No. Why is it cliche? Because it's true. He has drawn you out. He has picked you up where you were. He died outside the city for those who were outside the city. He touched the lepers. He sat with sinners. You are not too far gone. You are not too far gone. Have you messed up? Have you made mistakes? Oh, goodness, we all have. We all have. And he already knew you would. I am reminded of this all the time because of that dream. Before I knew, he knew I was going to Oregon. Before I knew I would have a marriage fall apart, he knew I would have a marriage fall apart, and that he would be there to pick up the pieces and put them back together, to put me up high on his rock, up high on stable, firm ground, held by him. Not just saved coldly, like, okay, job done, lovingly saved and drawn up onto the high mountain with him, held lovingly, compassionately, and filled with peace, a peace that this world can't offer. You guys, you have a story. I just got done reading Psalms 107:2. Let me read it to you. Let the redeemed of the Lord tell their story. Those he redeemed from the hand of the foe. Those he pulled out of the miry clay and set their feet on firm ground. Those he drew out of troubled waters. Our King is in the business of saving people if they open their eyes and hold on. If you're seeking him, you will find him. Just make sure you're seeking him with all your heart and soul and mind, because even when I thought I was not. Right? There's always that one little thing you hold on to in this world, your version of the perfect life, of the thing that will bring you happiness. Let it go. Let it go. Nothing here can give you lasting happiness, lasting peace, lasting joy. Nothing can. No one can, except Jesus, except his Father, except the Holy Spirit within you and upon you. I don't know who needs this. Maybe you know someone who needs this. Someone who is just so close, but feeling so far away. Or like they just can't be saved. Oh, don't buy that lie. Now that's a cliche lie. The most cliche and overused lie. That one, reject. Push it aside. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believed in him would not perish, but have everlasting life. Hold on to that promise. God bless you.